What's going on, guys? This is T from Drago. I wanted to talk to you about our up and coming utilities. There's been a lot of confusion so far about what exactly we're trying to build, because so far most of you guys have seen bits and pieces of the big picture that we're kind of throwing together. Um, I'm glad to announce that we are pushing out adventures here very, very soon, and adventures are the last piece of the puzzle for all of our utilities to come together. After adventures, guys, we will have one of the most unique gamified utilities on Solana, hands down. Seriously, like there's a lot of good, solid gamified utilities out there, but we will finally have our own flavor, something very unique to bring to the table and showcase. All right, so let's get straight into this. So adventures are the core of our gamified utilities. Adventures will literally swing the door open for items, food, layer building, art updates, and even more. Seriously, even more. So as you guys can kind of see here, you can kind of see the excuse me, you can see the building process down here in the bottom right. You can see that you have an empty room, and you're slowly kind of building it out as you progress through adventures. You'll be able to every time you go on an adventure, you'll be able to bring back a piece of the layer, and I'm going to tell you why that's significant on the next slide. As you can see at the bottom left, Adventures also opens up the door for our art updates. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for that. I apologize for all the delays, but we do want to plug this in. We want to plug it. We want to plug the art update into this adventuring utility, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that in a little bit. In the top right here, you can see this little loot box icon. No, that's not something we wrote. I kind of got it from Canva and plugged it in there, and you can kind of see our items and fruits right there on the top right. Okay, so let's get to the next slide and see what's going on. Okay, so why even build a layer? What is the significance? Okay, guys, so as you can see right here, we have 5 tiers of layers here. Everybody right now, if you have a layer at this moment, you have a tier one. You have an empty tier one. As you can see in the bottom left, once again, every single layer you will have to build out from scratch. Once you finish building out your tier one, you will burn the tier one to upgrade to a tier two. You kind of get me? So this is the significance of this. This isn't for building out the layer isn't just for aesthetic purposes, although it's for that too. It's not just for tracking your progress. It's also for giving you access to better missions. Every time you go up a tier, you get access to that tier's missions and that tier's premium reward pool. Okay, so the more you build out your layer, the better the rewards, basically. And we're going to get into that more on the next slide as well. So here's an example of reward pools. Okay, so here's just an example right here. So first off, um, I got 3 examples here for you. I got the standard adventure. The first two are free. You got standard adventure one, standard adventure two, and there's also going to be standard adventure three. And these are just examples of drop rates. These aren't set in stone, but I want you guys to understand something. There's a 15% chance to build a piece of the layer after each mission. Each Drago type will have a multiplier added to the drop rates. You kind of get me? So let's say you have a Gen 2. All this right here, this would be, Gen 2 data right here. If you have a mutant or ice Drago, you would have a small multiplier. It'd be a pretty decent multiplier added on top of it. If you have an overlord, that's the biggest possible multiplier that you can get on these drop rates right here. I don't have the numbers for that quite yet. So there's going to be, like I said, guys, there's going to be a level of balancing that has to be involved. So here, let's go step by step. As you can see right here in reward pool one, we'll have, let's say we have 18% drop chance to get this fruit, and then an 8% to get this item, and then a 6% to get this claw. When you're looking at all these different reward pools, guys, you can kind of see that you're seeing some duplicates of some of these fruits. You're seeing some of them are green, some of them are blue, some of them are purple in the background. And especially when you're looking at the premium, you notice completely different colors compared to all the other different reward pools. That's intentional. I'm gonna get into that a little bit more on the next slide. Just keep in mind that the drop rates um, displayed on this page is just an example. This does not include loot boxes or fruit baskets on this page. Okay, so let's go and move on to the next thing so I can get into items a little bit more and explain to you how they work. So, what are fruits and items, and how is this going to switch things up? So, first off, guys, I want you to understand that it's going to take us a second to get Ember off the ground. We have multiple services, multiple business structures that are, out there holding a net out to capture, capture some funds, capture some business out there while we're building this out. That's something else that we got out on the side. So in the meantime, we're not expecting Ember to go straight to the moon right out the gate. But in the meantime, what we want to do is we want to diversify the reward pool by creating very specific, unique utilities that can be, excuse me, that can be plugged into, diversify that reward pool and make things a little bit more interesting. So, for example, let's look over here. We have the Phoenix Feather Fan, and this one's rare. Any Drago slash Overlord equipped with this item will finish missions 12% faster. Okay. Let's look at the Ancient Dragon Claw. Any Drago slash Overlord equipped with this item will increase their drop rates by 25%. And that doesn't mean 8% plus 25%. It will be an increase of 125% of whatever percentage it already was. Okay, and then the last thing, we got the Dragon Fruit. Epic. This is a fruit. So there's two things we can do with this Dragon Fruit. And this is going to be very important once we drop missions. Any Drago slash Overlord equipped with this item will increase their drop rates by 20%. You get 2 adventure uses if you take that. If you take that route with it. Or there's an 80% chance to ascend your Gen 1. Only need one. Okay, so Ascension is the art update. Understand that. So Ascension is going to be how we. That's what we're call. That's what we're calling the art update. It's going to be called Ascension. But Ascension is not just the art date. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Ascension is not just the art update. I'm going to get into that on the very last slide. We'll come revisit that. But just understand this: items are permanent, and fruits get burned after X amount of uses. I put an extra R there. I got to fix that. I'll fix that later on. Anyways, all right. Let's get to the next slide. So as you can kind of see, you have 3 slots in your layer. I should have included some kind of slide for this specifically. But yeah, you will have 3 slots in the layer. You can already kind of open up your layer and just check it out. You have a Gen 1 slot. You got 3 Gen 2 slash Overlord slots. So of course, you can plug items. You can plug 2. So you have 2 item slots, 3 fruit slots, right? You can plug those items into any slot that you want, and whatever unit is in that slot will receive those buffs. Same thing with fruits. So as we spoke about on the last slide, items are permanent, fruits are temporary, and you can only use them for X amount of time. Most fruits will only have 1 use, some will have 2, and maybe some of the really good ones will have 3. Most likely, we'll keep it at 2 right out the gate. But here's an example. So, for example, we have the Dragon Claw. So your Drago is that slot. That slot in the layer is going to be buffed by all these items right here and fruits. So this would be the outcome of your stats. So for example, we have the Ancient Dragon Claw, right, and the Epic Dragon Fruit, and that's been plugged into the layer. And right here we see that the Epic Dragon Fruit gives 20%, while the Dragon Claw gives 25. That's why we have a 45% increased drop chance right here. Mission speed. We know that the Phoenix Feather Fan, makes it so that you finish missions 12% faster. So we can infer that one of these fruits right here gives 8%, mission speed. Plus, one of these fruits also give 100% chance to drop Ember. Ember won't be, guaranteed, as you saw from the last slide, but there will be other ways to acquire it. Okay, so 10% pity. Okay, so this is kind of how pity works. I'm not going to go too heavy into it. I don't even know if we're going to keep it at 10%, because especially if you have items that might be a little bit busted. But when we're talking about 10% pity, let's say that you go, you send your Drago into a run and you don't get anything in that, you literally get nothing in that specific run. The next time you send that Drago out to go on a mission, they will have a small amount of pity added to the score, and this will increase their drop rates by just a bit. So let's say we'll probably use a scaling model. Maybe we'll start off with something like 5%, and if there's 2 where you literally get no drops, which is kind of unlikely, increase it to 10, and then maybe we cap it at like 15 or something like that, and then resets after you get a drop, something like that. We'll balance it out. Okay. Yep. Next slide right here. Okay, and now we're going to pay attention to the tier system for items and fruit. So first off, as you guys can see over here, you'll notice that the drop rate for items are a lot, they're a lot harsher than the fruits, and that's because items are permanent. Items are huge, guys. So if you get an epic or a legendary item, you've hit the jackpot. This is something that's going to make your missions experience much more rewarding, much more valuable, and you'll enjoy it. you'll it'll just be a much more enjoyable and rewarding experience, and it'll just be so much more efficient. I guess efficient's the best word to use in that scenario. But yeah. Anyway, so we have 5 tiers. We have common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary. Guys, if you hit epic or legendary, you hit the jackpot. Seriously, you hit the jackpot because these items are permanent. Same thing with food. Um, like I said before, there's going to be different use cases for different foods, but the higher the tier it is, the heavier the benefits are. And there's some people were saying that maybe we shouldn't do items and food on secondary. I think we can fit one more slot in there if we make it make sense. But let me know what you guys think. Um, and here's the other thing: both fruit and items can be acquired in bulk if you happen to land a loot box or a fruit basket on your adventures. So we're not going to throw loot boxes and fruit baskets into adventures immediately, but as we kind of take a week or two to make sure that everything's kind of balanced out with the first set of items being released, we'll be good to go. We'll be good to go to up the stakes a little bit, and then we'll build that loot box system. So loot boxes, guys, we can really put anything into it. We can put some special item drops in there that maybe you can buy with Ember, or you can grind specific missions with a chance to get a drop from it. But yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do with loot boxes. But for the most part, Ember items and fruits are just you know more rewards that we're throwing into the loot pool. And of course, we can expand this however we need to. Okay, on to the next thing. What about Gen 1s? Okay. I'm going to wrap this up here, guys. So, upcoming Gen 1 benefits. I want you guys to first understand, I want my Gen 1s to be patient because you got to understand we put out Gen 2s to be, we can't let the Gen 2s not necessarily have anything. So, we want to make these Gen 2s useful first, and then we can really start getting the Gen 1 benefits going because we need to make Gen 1s great again. So, yeah, you can read it right. We're going to start out with an exclusive sniping tool. We really want to build something like that out. We want to build a framework for tools out, so we can really start getting into the market with that as well. We want to get a premium award pool out there, so you guys will be able to send your Gen 1s onto journeys slash networking. We called it networking before. We can also call it journeys. We'll see what works best. But the whole idea is that there will be premium loot pools where you can send your Gen 1s in there to grab items, premium items and premium food, and guarantee them Ember on every single journey, unlike the Gen 2s. Ascension, art update, plus stat buff for layer. So what we wanted to do to kind of give Gen 1 something to work with this whole entire utility. When they update their art, they're also going to have a stat applied to their Gen 1. This stat, this specific stat, is going to be applied to every single Drago in that layer, whether it's increased mission time or whether it's increased drop rates, etc. There's so many different things we can do. By the way, this Ascension technology will probably plug it in for Overlords too, just so that they can upgrade their stats on that as well. And of course, we did finish phase one of the alpha platform. We are currently in a bear market. There's no reason to rush to pump that out. So premium access onto the Kingdom Alpha platform as soon as we wrap all this stuff up and we finalize that and really get that on the market. And then last thing, of course, guys, Gen 1s get all the love. We got W3 Solutions, we got Kingdom W3. Gen 1s will be, in one way or another, integrated into the business model. Okay, and there's going to be multiple ways to do that. We already have, like for example, on Kingdom Alpha, if you hold five Hydras, or sorry, 5 Gen 1s, which makes you a Hydra, you will be able to, you'll have unlimited access to the platform, stuff like that. We want to keep funneling benefits into Gen 1s. And not just that, we also want to buy them back because we really think that these benefits are going to be worthwhile. We think they're going to be truly worth people's time. So because of that, we're going to reinvest into Gen 1s as we get business. We're going to reinvest into Ember and Gen 1s as we get business. Okay. Yeah, guys, that's about it. Ember is a long-term play, guys. We have a lot of things being integrated into Ember in the background via our different businesses. And yeah, man, I think the utility token meta is it's very ambitious. It's very ambitious, but you know what? I'm very confident that we can still make it happen 100%. We can make Ember into a decent token. It doesn't need to be something as insane as Dust, but something usable. I'm very confident we can get it to that point. And as long as it's useful, we'll be good to go. All right, guys, that's it. Please let me know in the thread below. I'm going to add a thread to this video when I post it in the morning. Yeah, ask me any questions. What I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start making maybe like weekly announcement videos just like this. So I'll pick out your questions, whatever you ask me in the thread. Yeah, I'll take them down and I'll answer it in a nice little presentation just like this. Yeah, guys, Canva's nice, man. Canva's nice. This is a pretty nice presentation. I'm pretty proud of it. But yeah, all right, guys.